welcome everyone. This is Glenda Dawson, and I have Moon Girl here with me, and you're watching the Paranormal Dolls. How are you, my dear girlfriend?
I'm great. How are you?
I am great. The weather is still a little cool here, and we're sick and tired of snow and sleet and frozen rain and ice and all that. Uh, I kind of slipped before,
Oh
and
no.
I caught myself. I kind of just like if I was ice skating, just and I held on to something, and it
Tanya
was,
Harding?
huh?
Tanya Harding?
Yeah, almost like that. Uh, so
Did you
yeah,
take one on the knee? No, just kidding. I love her, by the way. I love Tanya. I was always team Tanya.
no,
Tanya, I love you.
I just I just grabbed onto the wall that was there, and then my walking stick, and we were good. We stayed up. It was just like I went faster to my car than I wanted to.
Ice skating.
But it was all good. I'm looking for winter, the winter to be over, so I could start planting and seeing
Yeah.
flowers and what do you yell about? You got like 100 degrees all the time. Shut up.
You know what? It actually got cold for us, and it's in South Texas.
Yeah,
Howdy.
I know.
956. So it's usually 90 to 100 degrees all year round. No joke. No joke. But it did get cold even for us. So I can imagine you guys with the snow, but it's kind of on and off. Now we're like at 60, 70. So it's good,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
the 30, oh my God, 20 something lower, like we're tropical people, my Latinos out there. You know what I'm talking about. Like this is just too much for
I'm Cuban and I like the Four Seasons, but this year has kind of way above, way above.
We're wearing shorts in Wisconsin, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, you got a heat wave right now,
we
right?
do. We got
very.
into we got into the 30s.
Yeah.
And you see, like, we're not equipped with this weather because we're not used to it. So people's pipes were messing up.
Mhm.
Even my sink got like frozen the pipes, and we're like, "What's going on?" It's like we don't know what to do. And the icy like streets. There's been like
Hair dryer for future
yeah,
reference. You take a
crashes
hair
because we
dryer.
don't know how to drive in like icy
Oh, I know,
streets.
baby.
So
For pipes, hair dryer. If you don't have anything prepared, just leave it
yeah,
there. So
yeah,
we have a wonderful, wonderful guest today.
yes.
One of the pioneers in this field, one that has and had the courage to come out and talk about it. And I'm just so, we're really blessed to know him. That's for sure.
And very one of the sweetest, kindest persons around. I just love him, Scotty. He's
I'll
amazing.
give you half a heart because that's all I can do.
There you go.
Who was kind enough to come on even though he's
Yeah.
recovering from surgery.
Yes.
So we love you, Scotty. Thank you for
It's a
being here with
perfect
us.
time to come on. So I have plenty of time to be here and talk. So it's exciting.
Yay. We can gossip about the paranormal and go.
Exactly.
Perfect.
We don't need to gossip. For real.
No, we'll just tell the truth.
Exactly.
Yep. Telling the truth is not gossiping.
Right.
No, it's not. It's
It's also not insulting people. We're just describing you.
Yeah, there you go. Oh Lord. So Scotty, welcome again. Thank you for doing this.
yeah, no problem. Thank you for
And
having me.
tell our audience, especially for those that are coming in new and may not know you, all about you.
Let's take the Wayback Machine. We're going way back. So once again, I'm Scotty Rorek. I'm a psychic medium. I've had my gifts all my life, and I'm not. Well, I was born in the '60s, so early mid '60s, 1965. And when I saw the spirits, it wasn't really a good time to see spirits, And
No.
I saw them from when I was little, from 3. So I was at 68. So back then, if you were seeing spirits, you either were in the drug culture or you were messed up, in the brain. And unfortunately, I got caught into the messed up in the brain. People were very
Mm-hmm.
skeptical about it all. I
Right.
mean, kids at school were just terrible. Talk about back
Mm.
then, bullying was okay because it's
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
what it is. It's not even good today, but you know what I mean. Back then, it was
Mhm.
so much different than it is even now.
Right.
That it was astronomically terrible. I mean, and I would tell kids, I would say, I saw your grandpa last night. They said, my grandpa's dead. How did you see him? I said, well, because he was talking about your new bike. He goes, how'd you know I had a new bike? I said, because your grandpa told me, you know, stuff. So, I mean, I had all that stuff. And so I was able to see spirits early on and always have. It was, as it went into the 70s, it was still getting real bad. So for me, late 70s, early 80s, I turned it off, which now I wish I never did, but back then I did. I had to because it was just not wise. My mom,
They would throw you, they would lock you up. That's the thing. They would think you were crazy, and they would want to lock you up. So a lot of people repress their gifts, unfortunately. It's very taboo.
and then the other thing that was really different was they always looked at me as a male with the same gifts, and females had them more back then than males.
Mm.
Mhm.
So if a male had it, then it was really strange.
Mhm.
So it just was tough. So I did turn it off, but it never really went away because it kept coming back all the time. But I was trying to keep it down. Like I said, my mom didn't know, but she didn't like. It wasn't bad with my mom. But it wasn't good because she didn't know. You know
Right.
the difference. I mean,
Mhm.
and so I can't blame her. My dad, it was bad. My dad, it was terrible. So just with everything.
Right.
We got into fights. We ended up not talking for 10 years, so it was really tough. Um, and then now what's funny is my dad's one of my main spirit guides. So he's
Mm.
here and he always says to everybody who does readings for me, he always says to him, he says, tell Scotty, I wish I knew what I did now back then. And I said, I wish you knew that now too myself, because life would have been very different than us fighting. We could have
Mhm.
had love. But the nice thing is him and I have that relationship now that he's crossed over that we should have had when he was here. So overall, it's still great, but it was it's a tough time. And I mean it's one of the things that I do in my readings when I help people and we'll talk about that later with Psychics Unite. Um, but it's really trying to find people and telling them that it's okay to be this, and it's still tough. It's still very tough to have gifts in this
Mhm.
society right now. It's very tough to be LGBTQ plus. It's very tough to be anything that's different right now yet. It's
Yeah.
tending to starting to go back, and I thought we were moving forward.
Mm.
And I'll get off that soapbox because I could be on that the rest of the show, but that's the thing is and if you're watching, please, if your son or your daughter has the gifts and they're a kid, don't say they don't have them. Don't say that they're imaginary, because they're not. They're really talking to spirits. Let them talk. Let them enjoy this. you know it's going to be good. You're going to find stuff that you never knew. Your keys that you lost, you're going to find, because they're going to tell you. you know the good stuff that comes from it. So it wasn't until I went to college that I kind of turned it back on, and it kind of was forced onto me. So I went to school at the University of Wisconsin at Oshkosh, and I went for theater and then radio, TV, film were my degrees. And one day I was working in the theater to pay for school, and I also was getting my degree. So this is great. You get to work there and get paid. So I'm like, this is awesome. So I was working. I went up in the middle of the day. I went up to the prop room to get some props, and all of a sudden I walked in, and then there was a full body apparition of a woman standing right in the door as I walked in. But she wasn't standing because she had no feet, but she was standing right there. And I ran out of that room screaming and yelling. I mean, I was screaming and yelling. Because I was like, I haven't seen this since I was a kid. So
Mhm.
in the late 70s. So it was like 5 years, 6 years. I was like, holy crap. Um, then all of a sudden, all the kids came out of the classrooms because it was the theater's close to all the classrooms. And then I told him again, I was like, oh my God, you're an idiot. You just came out to everybody again. So now, but now the cool part was now it's the 80s. And now the cool thing was ended up getting tons of dates, tons,
Oh,
tons. My dance card was booked every night. I'd always make them go out to dinner first before we talk ghosts, but so I could have a real date.
look at you, Playboy.
Yeah, it was good. Well, and that's why I still say it now. I said that's why I'm still doing it now. It's for the ladies. So,
Ladies and ghosts.
yeah. So I mean, so that was good because now it was the 80s, and then you could see that Ghostbusters here, like on the side of me and stuff. And I have an ectomobile which I picked up, Moon Girl,
Yes.
the airport here.
Scotty was kind enough to pick me and Patty up from Madison in his amazing Ghostbusters ectomobile. It was the coolest thing ever. I loved it so much.
We
And
played the
me and Patty
Siemens
had an
and
amazing
everything,
time.
so. But now, so here's where it all came in, because in the 80s, then Ghostbusters came up.
Yeah.
And then, so this is the first time in my life I actually felt normal, because people saw the movie and were laughing and having a good time with it. And they saw ghosts and they saw men with ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
So the time where now it wasn't so taboo for Scotty anymore. Now my dance card got even fuller because the girls wanted to keep talking about it. So it was a good time. And I mean, I've since met Ernie Hudson. I've since met Dan Aykroyd.
Love it.
I've done shows with them, paranormal conventions.
Mm-hmm.
And I thanked them both. I said, because I don't think without Ghostbusters, I don't think we'd be here today, even doing this show here where we are now, because without them, the whole culture changed. I mean, it was a time where things were, okay, now here's some funny guys having fun with ghosts, even though it's scary in some places, you can still get over it. I mean, and it's still working because they're filming. The next one's coming out here in Easter weekend. So, by the way, I'll be at a theater Easter weekend promoting it with the Ecto right out front.
Yes.
In Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, at the Marcus Cinema. So, but with the Ghostbusters coming out, see, that's why I still wear Ghostbusters. That's why I still have an Ecto. That's why because during the pandemic, then I said, I've always had good clothes. I've always had all this stuff. And I was like, it's my way of thanking them for giving me that time where I felt normal. And I didn't feel normal for 20 some years. So it was a tough beginning of a life, and that's why today anytime a kid comes to me, I drop all I can do and jump to try to help them, because I'm not going to let anyone have 20 years of their life just go down the drain because no one's able to listen to you. To talk to you about the spirits that you're seeing. So that's where the Ghostbusters come in. And that's why I wear it. They always go, but you're a psychic medium and you like Ghostbusting. I said, yeah, because it's the same thing, because I'm going to try to help you work with the ghosts that are there. Most of them are 100% friendly, and they're family members and they want to be there and they want to, and then the ones that aren't, we're going to work together to try to figure out what's going on and why they're there. We can see if we can move them on, or we can then work with them to have them continue to be with us. So if they're already crossed over. Right. So that's the big thing for me. I want to, and everything I'm going to talk about the rest of the day, I always talk the difference between a spirit and a ghost. A ghost is someone who's passed, that has died, but hasn't crossed all the way over. And a spirit is someone who has died and has gone to the other side. So whatever you want to call it, and I'm not going to get into religion and anything like that. You can call it heaven. You can call it Summerland. I call it the other side, whatever you call it. But that's what a spirit is. Somebody that's gone all the way across and comes from a place of love, because that's what the other side is love. So if you're a medium or you're sensitive and you feel and you're talking to a spirit and you feel love, then you know they're a spirit. If you feel weird and you feel creepy, like we did Sarah and I did at Oberabuen, those are ghosts.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
very different. You can definitely tell the difference.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing that's my first place I start with everybody that comes to me and they go, I got this ghost in my house. I go, well, let's find out if it's a ghost or not. Because I just one lady called me up and she was going to pay me thousands of dollars, which I said no way. So because I figured out what it was like before she even called, And she says to me, we got onto back when the iPads first came out with, what was that, FaceTime?
Mhm.
And so she came to me and she goes, can you FaceTime with me? And I'm going to walk around the house and you're going to tell me. And so I said, by the end, we were walking around showing me everything. And I said, so now what do you want me to do? I want you to get this demon out of my house. I said, okay, demon out of your house. I said, so you're asking, so you want him banished, right, out of your house? You go, yeah. I said, so you really want me to kick out your dad out of the house? And she goes, no. I said, then why don't you talk to your dad? I said, she goes, where is my dad? I said, he always stands right by your desk and watches you work. She goes, that's where I see it. I said, yes.
Mhm.
I said, so now you know who it is. And I said, so now talk to your dad and he'll be happy. And her house has been fine ever since. So if you don't know what it is, now let's go the other way. So Ghostbusters made it cool. Scary movies made it bad. So we've gotten into that phase where everything's spam. We've gotten into the phase, and I've never met Alison Dubois, but I want to someday and really talk to her about it because I don't know if the show is very similar to the medium because she always saw all the pain and all the sorrow and all the blood, which is not. It's not that way. At least not for me. I never see that. So I'm always like, why are we working in there? I had one kid that I went to help, and his mom always says, "Oh, he sees the blood. There are all these nasty people around him, and all this." And so by the end, I said to his mom, I said, "Hey," I said, "So do you want to really know what's happening?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, He does see how the people die, and he also then embellishes the blood and everything because he knows that stirs you up, and he wants the attention." And she goes, "What?" I go, "Yep." Because you don't talk to him about ghosts unless it's bloody. And she goes, "Yeah, I don't." I said, "See, that's the problem. If you talk to your son about ghosts and spirits as the way they really portray themselves, then you don't have to worry about this." So,
Mhm.
so that's where the other thing is. Everybody jumps to this, and then the paranormal investigators jump to that because they think that it makes it more exciting that there's a demon or something crazy in the house when it doesn't. The fact that you can talk to a spirit is the most incredible thing I've ever experienced in my life. And so it should be for you. If you can get an EVP of your dad, you can get an EVP of somebody that's in the house. That's freaking incredible. Incredible. It doesn't need to be more than that. It just needs to be what it is.
Mhm.
I had one case in when I went to Iowa, a group called me because they were auditioning a medium and they wanted me, and I came in the day before and I did the investigation. They were going to take this medium on. And it was in this house that where these pennies were dropped all the time. And I did the house and I told them what was there. And then I said, can I bring the homeowners in? The guy goes, sure. So I brought the homeowners in. I said, now where's your son? And I brought him in. I said, I looked at their son and I said, so why are you faking dropping pennies on people? He goes, what? I said, come on, don't lie. I said, you can't lie to a psychic medium. He goes, yeah, I know I can't. Yeah, so why are you dropping it? Because my parents really wanted a haunted house. I said, they have a haunted house, but you don't have to do this to be, I said, you're faking this. And he admitted to it. And the next night, the guy came in. The first thing he says, oh, there's pennies dropping. Because he read it on the internet.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, really? Come on. So I ended up calling him Ofer because he got nothing. Zero.
And that happens a lot. I've noticed a lot of mediums
Mhm.
They do a lot of research. They say they don't, and then when they get to a place and they're like, "Yes, I'm feeling this. I'm seeing this," and as another medium, I'm like, I could tell that you're lying,
Right.
lady. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you're a real medium, you could tell that someone's lying to you, and they've done research. And it's always so hard for me to keep a straight face.
I,
I don't know
I,
how you feel about
I
that,
told him.
guys, but I'm like,
I
you
took him
know.
right out and tell him. I said, "You're lying."
You have a lot more
Telling people is
courage.
frowned upon nowadays, I
I do,
suppose. But yeah.
I've gotten so old. I mean, because this, I mean, when you came out, I was just recovering from my stroke. I had 2 strokes
Hmm.
this summer, and after that, I was like, I don't care anymore. I'm not, I'm not long for this world. I am going to be crossing over sometime because I don't think I'm going to be here into my 90s. There's
Mhm.
no way my body's not going to handle it. I'm going to try the most I can, but I'm ready to go whenever they say go, I'm going to go.
Mhm.
So so I'm not worried. So it's one of those things. I'm not worried at all. But I'm not going to let people lie to people either
Right.
anymore. I mean, I
Hmm.
used to be quiet about it and I tried to be polite about it, but I'm not doing that anymore. If you're making stuff up, you're making stuff up. I'm just not
Hmm.
going to do it. It just doesn't make sense. And like
And
when you were in Oberabuen, I mean, it was the first time we met
yeah.
in person. But I mean, it was the first time we met in person. And when you were there, I knew right away your readings were spot on. I just knew,
Oh,
I could
thank
tell
you.
because everything you were saying about the Oberabuen, about BC, about everything, because BC was one of my dearest friends,
Mm.
and and you were able to hit everything, even in the same tones and same things. I was like, she can't, because she doesn't know it. You can't research tone. You can't
Right.
research special phrases because that's just not out there.
Right.
You
Yeah.
can. So that when I see a medium doing tones and phrases, then I know they're on to something that spirit's really talking to them
Mhm.
because they're talking like them,
Right.
and
Mhm.
that's amazing. And you did that when you were out there, and that was really incredible to me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you
And you can't fake mannerisms either,
no, you can't.
Like there's just no way. That's not public. But yes, and the same thing with you. And me and Shelly have conversations and she loves you too. And we all love you. And I had such a wonderful time, doing investigation with you over there and Patty Negri and, Shelly. And I can't wait to go back and I want you there too. I want you there too.
I only live about a half hour away, so I'm good. I'll be there.
Oh, there
Good.
you go. There you
So
go.
yeah, but I mean that's the biggest thing is stop doing the research and just let it come to you.
Mhm.
That's my whole thing is I don't go to prove and I don't go to disprove.
Right.
I go to experience what's happening at that location.
Mhm. And at that moment, because not always you walk in
Right.
and you experience anything.
Correct. You're
And
100% right.
that's the problem. A lot of these groups or people, they walk in and they're not experiencing something. So all of a sudden, things are happening, and I'm like, mm,
So here's
yeah,
a funny thing to go along with that. So what I do a lot of times is now I have a phone and I can't use it, but I have one of those Samsungs with the pens.
right,
So I will start writing notes down on my phone. And what's funny is like, or if we're in an investigation, I have a piece of paper, I'm writing notes on it.
right.
I'll write notes all night, no matter what. And on the notes, I'll go, I am so effing bored. There's nothing happening. If you ever read what I wrote, it'd be bad. Old McDonald who had a farm, But I'm just writing all the time, so it's like I'm catching something. So
Right.
then I can see if other people will feed into nothing or if they're really catching something. Because if I'm not catching something and they go, oh, I feel something. I'm like, no.
Uh,
And here's the thing too about like history. I love history as well, but sometimes history doesn't always have it right. Because I've done investigations where I'm not gonna say which place, but they were all convinced that somebody had killed themselves in a certain area, and they're like, "Yes, it's there. We feel." I'm like, "Actually, guys, I know that you all think that. I know you all have it out there. But Spirit's telling me it's like it was right here, not over there.
Mhm.
Sorry, you know what I mean? So you have to take that stuff into consideration too. You can't just go by what people say, the hearsay. This is where the ghost is. No, it's here. So I mean, if you really feel it or you see it, I mean, that's the truth, versus what you're hearing out there.
And I know I did that to Johnny Hauser over at Alaska Axe Murder House. And I was like, just one example of it was, I said, the barn's in a different place. And nobody's ever told him that. I said, the barn's in a different place. He goes, yeah. I said, it used to be up here. The windows were up here more. And he goes, yeah, they moved the barn back. So you can, because I could see the stuff, when I was at Estes Park, Colorado. I mean, I could see the stuff, I could see the lady walking down the stairs. Oh, that's the funniest one, I'll tell you. This was just cracked me up. So middle of the afternoon, we were doing a convention in Estes Park up at the Stanley. And I just fly in from Detroit. I drive up and I get there middle of the afternoon. It's beautiful out, sunny. It's one of the full moon weekends, or super moon weekends. It was great. And so I walk in and there's this old gentleman there he was a bellhop. He had the hat on, the epaulets, just the whole, he looked so cool. It was really cute. And he was sitting at the back door. He goes, "Oh, good afternoon and welcome to the Stanley." I said, "Yeah, thank you." I said, "Where's the front desk?" He goes, "Just up the stairs to the right." I said, "Awesome, thank you." He says, "Enjoy your stay." I went up the stairs, turned to the right. All the rest of the bellhops are in green polo shirts. I went running back and there was no one there. I was like, "Oh, thank you so much for welcoming me."
Wow.
But see, that's the fun. That's the fun of being and having this,
Right.
because it is still fun. It's not scary. I don't understand that. I don't understand why it has to be scary, because these are still people. They still had lives. They still were afraid. They were still sad. I mean, if you're picking up on that, that's okay, because that's what they're still showing you, or that's what they're holding on to. That's what we need to help release. That's fine, but it's not scary. They're, even burglars, after a while, they kind of give up. They just don't be that anymore. And if they've crossed over, so why are we always going down that route of everything's scary? Why don't we go down and find out the story, and find out who they were and why they are and what they're trying to tell us again?
Yeah.
Because most of the time, spirits just want to be remembered.
They want to be acknowledged. They want, because not everybody can see them. And especially if you do go to, there's like a haunted location that there's always investigators or mediums. And let's be honest, some of them are not the greatest. So they're tired of not being acknowledged. So when they finally see someone who can see them, they're like, "Hey," like, "Hello, I know you can see me," locking eyes, and they want your attention. They just want to be acknowledged.
So I have a so-called wrangler. She likes to be called a wrangler, not manager. I call her a wrangler. I call her a wrangler.
Gail?
Yeah, Gail. And
Gail,
Gail.
Love you too.
So anyway, Gail always knows when I go, and then my old one was Andy, and they both know. They could see in my eyes when I go bye-bye. And we use that same phrase from Ghostbusters. Ray has gone bye-bye. Because there's a when I start talking to spirit, I kind of go away. I got this look on my face where it's not totally weird, but my eyes glass over, and I just go, and they just, they can see me, and then they just kind of they jump into protection, and then they stand next to me until I come back, because they know I'm talking to somebody. So they give me the moments to do it. That's why I need Gail around me, is because I need that protection. I need it because,
and she's wonderful too. She's a wonderful lady.
Yeah, she's an amazing wrangler. She says I'm like a marble on a slanted floor. I just wander all over the place. She usually has to get me back to the tables where I'm doing readings at, because otherwise I go talking to people. So, see, you asked me one question. I keep talking all day. What the heck?
Please.
So, what do you prefer? Do you prefer doing your investigations? Because of course you're also a paranormal investigator, or do you prefer? I mean, I know they go hand in hand, but is there one you like more? Being an investigator, being a medium?
They're so different that it's hard to like one better.
They're so different, but yet there's so many parallels
Yeah.
at the same
I
time.
agree with
Yeah.
that. I agree with that statement. That's huge. Huh. It's funny on my phone right now. Gail's calling. So, Gail, when you're watching,
She heard us. She's a medium too now.
yeah, she is. Thanks for you saying it too. So, taking that, they're so different. Well, because the end result is great because we're giving people peace and understanding and things. But the ones at the homes, I think, are more because I can make it comfortable for them to live in their own house.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
When the reading is, they're already comfortable enough. They just want guidance from the spirits, and they need me to tell them, which is okay. Sometimes it's tough though. Those are tough too because sometimes you have to tell people to get a divorce. Sometimes you say they're cheating. Sometimes so you go down those routes with somebody, so they need to know that information. So that's tough too. But I think the paranormal investigating is the one. And the other thing is I help paranormal investigators more too. Because I teach them grounding because none of them ground. None, not a one. I teach them.
Or they give themselves or cleanse themselves afterwards. This is something that they don't do either.
No protection, no cleansing, nothing. Yeah. Now, when I always say, when I first started way back when, I kind of thought that too, back in the 2000s. Actually, my first investigation was 1993, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Before you even were born.
Oh, no, I was born.
No, I was born in 61. So
okay, so you and I.
I
thought you were way younger than that.
I wish. I'm pushing 40.
Oh, okay.
I mean, 20.
Yeah, 28. But I mean, back then you're like, oh.
Yeah.
But nobody does that. There's no, so they don't understand that. And they're out doing things because they have questions. They have reasons why they're investigating because they want to prove something that happened to them.
Yeah.
Why don't I give you that now, and then you can help others get into the same place? Then you know what I mean. So that's the type of things that And I've had some great friends, and I'm not going to out them here on here that were investigators that are now sensitives or even mediums because they it just come through to them because they kept getting me saying yes, kind of giving them that reinforcement so that they actually feel good about what they're doing, So that's what I think. So not only are we helping the homeowners and their kids a lot of times, and I'm helping the paranormal investigators, I'm on a few teams, and I'm glad I am. I'm on Shadow Hunters out of Illinois, Fox City's paranormal team with Tim Miley. But I do a lot of freelancing.
Yeah.
So, we started our own here. We started our own group called the Mad City Ghostbusters. We actually are out to help people, kind of like in Make-A-Wish too, to help people if they want to be a Ghostbuster. But we're also to come out to your house. I had a kid that I took out that had disabilities. He had short-term memory loss, and because he had a head injury. So he doesn't remember much, but he does remember Ghostbusters. And he remembers everything about Ghostbusters, all the lines, everything. It's like his one thing, Like my son with autism, knows everything about dinosaurs. So it was something they'll remember. They can't remember everything, but he remembers Ghostbusters. So I got him a uniform. We got one of the uniforms. We got him a proton pack. We got him into the car. We went driving around town. So tried to help him, be a Ghostbuster for the day. And the thing that made me cry was he goes, "This is my best day of my life." So, that's the type of things that I want to do with this too. So I mean, it's not just so there's so much more to it than going around going, "Oh, what's that?" Really? How many times do you have to hear that?
Or everything is a demon.
Yes.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Everything.
Okay. So since I'm on the show and you said I can say anything I want, I'm going to come out publicly because I have done this many times, but I don't believe in demons
Mhm.
because I don't believe in hell.
There you go.
I just don't believe there's a place. I've been doing readings, since the 60s.
Yeah.
I've never had a reading, never had a reading. And I mean, never, not once, never had a reading that ever talked about hell. Not a one.
Me neither. So
Not one paranormal investigation that talked about hell. Not one.
Mhm.
Zero. So if it was that prevalent, I should have at least had one. And it's not like I sit around in the house all the time like I'm doing now. You know what I mean? I'm out all the time. And it's just like, no. So I don't believe in it. And in my, I know we don't talk politics, but I'm going to talk a little bit of religion. My God would never make something like that. That doesn't make sense. My God loves you. My God wants the best for you. My God wants you to enjoy your life. My God wants you to have fun and be a creator like God is, because we are part of God. So we are the same part of Him. So we're all creators just like God is. That's why we come here, because we can create here on earth. We can create our own happiness. We can create our own unhappiness. We can create love. We can create hate. We create it. That's us. And too often we get caught up into this thing that, oh, hate, everybody hates me. Well, no, it's because of something you probably did.
Very true.
Because our life, we have to be more responsible for our lives, because we can change. We change our lives. Nobody else. Nobody else changes us. Nobody else makes us happy. Nobody makes us sad. We do that to ourselves. And too often spend all our time in the sadness instead of creating happiness, instead of creating love and forgiveness and oneness. I said, so why don't you be that now? Because that's what we are when we die and we cross over. We are that. Because why don't we do that now and live this life that way? And don't you think creating would be a lot more fun? That's why I'm like creating. That's why, I'm 2 weeks faster in my surgery healing than I am normally. Because my therapist and my doctors saw me and they go, you shouldn't be this far already. I said, but I'm creating healing. I'm creating this.
Exactly.
I'm manifesting healing. I am. And I'll take anybody else's. So thank you for sending. I would be more than happy to take it.
We'll definitely send it, guys. I'll send some
Definitely
good
take it.
energy.
But you know what I mean? But
I've been
still,
sending you healing and Reiki and all that other stuff since
I know you have,
heard.
so I can feel it. But so that's the thing. I mean, we and that's always great, but we can do that.
Right.
We could do that for others, because like today, Keith Age had a surgery, and I sent my whole team, my spirit team. By the way, I have to mention my spirit team because otherwise they get mad. My spirit guide.
They want to be on the podcast too.
They do. Trust me, they'd be happy. So my spirit guide's name is Steve. Steve and I were married in the last life. I was his wife. He is the most stunning man, Greek man you've ever seen in your life. Rippled.
Now I'm jealous.
You would be.
Now I'm jealous.
See Steve, he's gorgeous. So I have Steve on my team. I have a grizzly bear on my team. He's my spirit animal. His name is Grizz. I have Mother Ayahuasca because I did ayahuasca.
Ooh.
And I was surprised that Mother stayed with me. But in my journey that night, it was a 2-night journey. She came up to me and said, "Welcome home." So I know that I was a Peruvian shaman in a past life, because she wouldn't have said that to me.
Right.
So she's back with me again, or she probably was always with me, but I just didn't realize it until you go through these type of things. And then my dad. So, But yeah, so I sent all them yesterday down to help Keith on his surgery, you know. So they tend to go all around trying to help people too. So. And
That's
they're so funny too, because all my students, they always have to watch out because I got one student not doing homework, and Steve went up to him and just came right into their face and goes, "Scotty's going to be mad." And they go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You better do your homework."
You start flickering the lights and stuff. Just
scaring the crap out of them. Do your homework.
Oh God.
Steve says so. But yeah, so I don't believe in that negative stuff. So let's not go there, guys. Let's be happy. Let's be of love. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's give people healing. Let's give everybody the best life that they can make.
Mm-hmm.
And let's all live that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And I'll throw that out. That's the same for politics. That's the same for everything.
Yeah.
Let's go down to stop this hate stuff, guys. Let's all go down to love, please. And that's the biggest thing that you find on Facebook or anywhere else is when people go into the hate and the negatives. I mean, I posted on my page yesterday, you know, when you go negative on somebody, it doesn't define them, it defines you. That was one of my favorite Dyer quotes I've ever heard him write. But it does. It defines you. Because you're the one that's in the hate. You're the one that's in the negative. If you forgive and move on, then you forgive and move on. If you live in unconditional love with everybody around you, then you have nothing to worry about. You have no sadness. You have just happiness. I do feel sad at times for people that are hurting, that get hurt and stuff. I never feel sad when someone dies. Never. Because the sadness, if I do feel any, it's for you because I know that person is close to you. But I still know that that person's still close with you, and I know they're just standing behind you now. So you better turn around and talk to them.
So my mother,
and don't do anything questionable because they're watching.
Yeah, they do watch when you go to the bathroom, everybody.
Yeah,
so they do.
Unfortunately.
And shower. And all the rest.
My mother used to say the same thing. Just she used to say, "When I die, just look back.
Yep.
I'm right there." And that's when I shut down my gifts for a little bit.
She's right there on your right side.
Yes, she is.
That's where she always stands, right side.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I've been seeing her the whole time.
And my father's on the left all the time.
You are correct.
Every once in a while, I feel this, and I'm like, oh, what did I do now?
But that's funny you say that because that's the exact same side that I see it. Now, when Steve, he helps me in all my readings and everything. I used to have to do protection all the time, but now Steve just does it every morning for me.
Right.
I'm already protected. I mean, it's already. But he also helps me in my readings in the fact he'll put the spirits on the right side or left side. And for me, just like where I saw for you, and I'm glad thanks for validating that for me, but that's the same side I see them on.
Right.
So I'm glad that they're really there for you too, because otherwise I was going to say, did Steve just put them that way for me? Because Steve always puts the ladies on the left side and men on the right. And then when you turn them around, they're always the way you just said.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yep. Exactly.
Because if you look, your dad, to me, it's on the right side, which is your left. So I always have to say it because I get confused sometimes if I'm not thinking right. Because
I'm so confused. Left, right.
You know, but when you look at somebody, it's my right side, your left.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So, but he always put them in, and then he puts them in order. So, mom is here. Grandma's here.
Yeah.
Great grandma's here.
I have 8
here.
generations back.
Yeah.
On my mother's side.
Yep.
8 or 9 generations. And every once in a while I get the tap. I'm like, oh, okay. What is it? What did I do?
Yep.
Brendan's been naughty.
Yep. Sisters and brothers are in the middle here.
Mm-hmm.
Aunts and uncles and cousins are over here.
Yeah. And I have a lot of them.
Yeah. And then, but then everybody does. So that's where we
Right.
try to find it. And but if I know there's someone standing there, and if I only see one male there and they're back like this, I know it's your grandpa that's passed, not your dad,
Right. Right.
because dad would be right here.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. And you know, my father was one of 18. He was the last.
Woo.
So
Yeah, your father, your uncles or like your grandparents. I mean, they were
yeah.
that far apart.
Yep. Yeah.
It happened to my mom that way too. My grandpa was 13,
Mm,
and all his brothers and sisters, were uncles, were like grandparents to my mom because they were
right.
so much older,
Right.
so much older.
Yes.
So yeah, I understand that there were big families back then.
Yeah. And I always say, oh my God, I got three, and I can't imagine 18.
I have two done.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. It's
Try to keep talking. I mean, this is an easy interview.
You have an investigation or an event coming up.
I
Do
do.
you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's February 18th. It's done by Andrew.
My
It
birthday!
is. I know, that's why I thought it'd be cool for you. It's in Madison, Wisconsin. It's called Madtown Paranormal Expo. It's at the Crucible, which is a bar here in Madison, and Alley Cape Promotions is putting it on. I speak at 1 o'clock. I'm doing a presentation on mediumship. They have a paranormal one-on-one workshop, dowsing rods, and then we actually have an after party, which is really cool for a paranormal investigation or a conference. They have bands and all kinds of stuff, so we'll be partying all night. So, and 12 o'clock it opens. The vendor fair opens, so a lot of vendors there and everything. So, come on out, February 18th. You can get it on my Facebook page, Scotty Rorek. I'm on every platform, so Scotty Rorek, it's on every platform. It's even a website. It's called Scotty Rorek, just like my name down below.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, what do you name it? I'm on. Hey, I've been rising creator for almost 12 weeks now.
Nice.
Yay, congratulations.
Facebook just sent me this nice note saying thank you. That's really nice. We can't believe that you've been this for every week for so long. So it's like, congratulations on all your hard work. I said, well, it's just putting out what people want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's love.
Mm-hmm. They need to hear that.
Right.
They need to hear it for sure. So tell us a little bit more about the Crucible.
The Crucible is a bar. It used to be an old warehouse. It's pretty cool. It's haunted.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the club. I go to the fence there. So, but it's more of a newer haunt. So I mean, Madison. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin, so there's a lot of places here. We have Sanatorium Hill, which I would like to take you guys to if you come out here. It's
Oh yeah.
It's an old Indian burial ground that is now a city park, and it's up in the same parking lot, or is the same lot as the old sanatorium. And the sanatorium now is Health and Human Services in Madison here. So, but you look in the windows, there's all kinds of patients always looking out. So it's pretty cool. I mean, we got a lot of stuff here. All bearable, and there's so much paranormal stuff around here. It's really cool. The one thing that I want to do is Psychics Unite. My wife started that. My wife Terry started the group, I think 8 years ago almost, or more now. We have a bunch of groups all over the United States. It's a group. It's a place where you can go if you have abilities or you have stuff happening to you and you want somebody to talk to. You come to Psychics Unite. Someday we want a group in every city across the United States because everybody needs this. Everybody needs somebody to talk to. And so my wife saw my history. My wife had a friend that she did a drug study with. My wife is a human guinea pig. She did all this. Pays well. So what the heck?
I know.
But so
Low on cash.
yeah,
Let's do it.
Yeah, dang. You get all the food and you get to eat, but you gotta stay there. That's the only bad part. But she went there with one of the ladies, and she brought it out in her that she had nobody to talk to. And since we've opened, we've had so many people. We opened a group for a while in South Bend, Indiana, and that was amazing because our first meeting there, we had two ladies there in their 70s, have never been able to tell anybody that they have abilities. And they were crying
Wow.
because now they had a chance. And they finally were able to come out to somebody.
Beautiful.
So, see, it's still out there. I mean, there's still, people are still afraid of telling people they have these gifts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're doing Mad City Ghostbusters. That's why we're doing Psychic Tonight. That's why we're Scotty Rorek, Psychic Medium. That's why we're doing that. That's what my brand is about. Is trying to make sure people have a place to go to talk about their gifts. Now, here's the cool thing about the Ectomobile. I know we talked about it coming to get you, but the Ectomobile is we go to a Quick Trip, which is our gas stations. They were ranked #1 gas station in the United States. And
Wow.
they have an enthusiast page, and it's so funny on their enthusiast page. The Ecto is always on it because I'm there doing gas all the time. Everybody takes pictures of it.
Yeah.
But the Ecto, when I go there or I go to Walmart, people will stop and tell me their stories. Even if it's cold, they'll pull me inside to tell me their stories. And that's why I wanted it.
Yeah.
At first I did it for me, and I said, well, this would be cool for me. It's something I always wanted. But no, it's really, even if after this one's gone, I'm getting another one because I'm going to always drive one from now on. It's just because I can't tell you how many people are willing to open up about their gifts because here they see somebody. We were at Walmart. It was closing at midnight. We were there. It was about 11:45. We were getting they had Christmas at 90% off. So we were getting all the good deals. And a guy comes up to me because I had a Ghostbuster sweater on. And he goes, "Oh, you're the one with the card. Let me tell you about my stuff." And so that's the way it gets. That's the way it always goes. So that's what it is. I mean, that's why people need this. That's why people need us.
Yes.
Is because we're willing to listen.
Mm-hmm.
We're not judgmental. We're awesome people. We're here because we're of love.
Yes.
And that's what it's about. So if one thing you can take away from today, if you're watching this, is please be nicer to the people around you. Please. Right?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Perfect. Perfect. So we're coming towards the end, but
I know, I can't believe it.
I know, but
I've answered one question.
that's okay. It was a book.
It's a Scotty show. We talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, it was a book. The answer was a book. It's okay.
That's the way I normally talk.
Good.
So now, anybody want to write my book? I'm a terrible writer. I'll sit down and talk and I'll write out the book that way.
Well, that's the newest thing. It's like you could talk at Microsoft Word. You could speak.
Yeah, I could do AI that way too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So.
I'll have them watch this podcast.
Well, thank you again. It's a pleasure as always. You're such a kind and, like I said, a pioneer, and people should really all get to know you if they don't, And
I'm happy to know more.
Yes. So, in the future, we do want you to come back. So,
of course.
Yeah.
All right. And thank you, Sarah. And thank you to our audience for following us all the time and being here with us. And as always, we love you. Bye.